welcome back to the Bonjouring podcast. In today's episode, we're gonna talk about some different perspectives towards the ESC program. And for that matter, we have invited some guests. We have Juliette and Claire with us.
Hello.
Hello. Maybe you can present yourself pretty shortly.
Okay, so I will begin. So I'm Claire, and I'm working in an organization whose name is La Ligue de l'Enseignement des Côtes d'Armor in Brittany, and we organize some European project, and in particular the European Solidarity Corps. So we are. I'm a tutor of a Georgian volunteer at the moment, and we also coordinate other volunteers in the department with Juliette.
So I'm Juliette. I'm working from the Federation of the MJC, it's the youth association, and I'm also has Claire ESC coordinating in the Côtes d'Armor for several organizations, MJC, but also other organizations.
So you already mentioned what kind of work you do. So could you maybe specify a little what exactly are your your responsibilities? What do you do for work? What's the connection to the volunteers, to the European volunteers?
You begin or I begin?
As you want.
So the work. So together we are coordinating. So it means for EVS to come. It's not like you come and that's all. There is a lot of preparation before, during, and after. Maybe we can share the... Yes, so you can explain.
Yes, so we have different roles. So here with you, we are coordinating organization. So we are not welcoming volunteer in all the volunteer in our organization, but we are doing coordinating with a big territory, a local, it's not local, but a big territory, just like the Department of the Côtes d'Armor. So this is the main role of us, but we could be also host organization. We can host volunteer and be the mentors and do different projects. And also we can be sending organizations, so we can, French people who want to go abroad as a volunteer in the European Voluntary Service, and that we can accompany them to just prepare before leaving and when they come back to France. So this is the three different roles we can have, and Claire and I have the three roles in the same time during the year, during the different projects of the young people. And with you as coordinating organization, we have some specific time with only the volunteer to just have a meeting moment to know each other better. How are you when you volunteering and in your project, in your daily life? And we have also time with only you mentors to accompany all the mentors, because it's very particular places to be mentor of volunteers. So it's not so easy sometimes. So we are here to discuss with them, find solution, tools, stuff like that. And there is big moments all together, and so the job of Claire and I is to prepare and organize those times.
Mm-hmm. Yes, those times, and also before a volunteer is coming, you have a lot of you have a big project to write, so we have to write the project to explain what is the goal of this project for each volunteer, and so it takes time also. And all the financial things we organize this also.
So this organization basically is sending, host, and coordinating organization?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, because for us, Linda and me, Juliette and Claire, they're just the coordinating organization. So there, as Juliette said, they organize some meetings in between the volunteers, so we know each other in the same region, in the same department, to do collective projects like this one. And yes.
Yeah, another question. For how long have you done all these projects all around Europe, coordinating, hosting? Because that sounds like a lot of work and tasks you have.
For my part, I just began the mission in September. Because before I was in the same structure but working on other missions. So for the ESC, so it's just in September. So Juliette helps me a lot to understand all these things, because it's not easy to understand how it works and how all the administrative things works. So
Yes.
maybe.
But did you already work in this Europe international field? Or?
Yeah, I did a civic service in La Ligue de l'Enseignement, and for 9 months, and after it was in October 2020, I was in the European project. I began in the European project, and in September I was in the ESC mission. So yeah.
And for my part, I'm working in this organization since 3 years, and I'm working in coordinating volunteering since 3 years. But before those years, and to be professional, I was volunteering in different kind of project. I haven't done volunteer long term as you, but I've done a youth exchange project when I was a young teenager. That's my experiences.
So you both did already have some experiences abroad, which motivated you to do things like this?
Yeah. For my part, I travel quite a lot alone with my backpack and going for 1 year around the world, or 3 months in the Trans-Siberian or things like that. And I did volunteering in Georgia also. So before coming to work here.
And what did you do there?
I was working on Erasmus project. Because I did my civic service in La Ligue de l'Enseignement, so I was used to work in this kind of project. So when I came to Georgia, we were like, 10 volunteers, and we can do whatever we want. Mm-hmm. So we did eco garden. Some people were giving some yoga lessons, some music lesson, and so the boss of the organization asked me to find French partner to do some projects, so I was working on this and on the eco garden also. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, and for me, of course, when I was a young teenager, I didn't travel abroad with my parents, so I did it with organization and MJC here in Saint-Brieuc. So I was very excited to discover new culture, new countries, new language, person. So yes, it's really motivated me when I wanted to search what kind of studies I wanted to do after my high school, and also it's inspired me to when I search work to do.
And so in your work, what is your motivation to coordinate young volunteers or to be still part of this whole volunteer experience?
That's a good question.
Sometimes, yeah.
For me, to be completely honest with you, all the administrative and financial part is not the funniest part. So it's not my first motivation to do this work, but it's
a lot, like the whole financial and administrative stuff. I'm so happy not to do this.
Yes, yeah, you're right, it's a lot, but I have a colleague who I'm working with her on this specific part, but for me in my job I'm really enjoying just meeting new partners, so abroad in Europe, but also in other countries outside of European Union. So it's really interesting to just discover new way of imagined to accompany people, new projects, new tools, and new vision of what my job can be. So this is the first really interesting for me, and also it's every year to welcome almost 15 people. It's really interesting for me to just discover you and your dreams, what you want to do in your life, and just to see you evolve in these 10 months of volunteering and what kind of great project you can do in your local host organization, but also all together. So that's why that's all my motivation to do my work.
Yeah, for me, I think it's the same than you. Really, all the time we have with the volunteers, the common times are always such a good time, and to talk with people from different countries and to see also the evolution. And it's really the best moment, the best motivation is to. You know, I don't know, when you have a volunteer from Georgia and she brings you khachapuri, the speciality, you are so happy. And it's just like exchange of culture. And for me, it's the best moment is when we are all together. Because when you coordinate, it's also because I'm hosting the volunteer, so I have also this time. But when we coordinate, it's more with all the groups. But it's always good time that we have, and it's very nice. And it's also a good motivation when, as a sending organization, also to see the people you sent abroad. You see them after, and they have they grew up, and it's just sometimes it has the volunteering has a real impact, and it changed their life, and it's like really satisfaction because it's the first goal of volunteering. So yeah.
Yeah, I think as well, like we girls and me and the other episode, we already talked about this whole international experience, how great it is to meet all these different international people with all of their different cultures and opinions, and it's really, really interesting. And Juliette, you mentioned that it's really interesting to get in touch with other partners in different countries. How does this work? Do you just find them, or?
So there is different ways, because the organization, the Federation of MJC, it's involved in 20 years in international projects. So when I arrived on my job, there was already partnerships and strong partnerships. So my job is to just continue them. So just to keep in touch and get some news. Not every month, but just regularly, just sending an email to know how are you, or just a message on social media, or sometime when we are working on a project. As an example, now I've sent all the offer for the next year for the new volunteer, so I sent them to all our partnerships, and they just to keep in touch about all the project the Federation is doing. So it depends of the partner. Sometimes it's just Zoom or Visio, but sometimes it's just messages on social media or just a like, and we are live and we follow each other and know what kind of activity we are still doing.
Yeah, I'm just asking because I know that my sending organization from Germany, it's the first time that they are working with this organization here, so I was interested in how this works, because they also asked me, how is it going? Should we keep working with them or not? And it's like this. So I was wondering how the getting in touch works and the whole administrative part.
And sometimes I think your organization, I start to working with them because of you, because you find you sending organization, and I was the coordinating organization here in Brittany, so sometimes we met like that, and it could be this way to meet new partner. And after, if you see by email stuff like that, if you are agree of the way of working together or not, because we have different ways of working. If it's good for you say I think I can continue to work with them, and sometimes we are using different way of working, and so I say it doesn't matter, so we can just stop the partnership, but it's okay.
Yeah, okay. The other day we were talking about that there are sending, host, and coordinating organizations, but technically the coordinating organization is not necessary, right?
It depends. Before it wasn't necessary, but now with the new program, the European Commission, they create a new label, license. It's a coordinating license. So now there is a special place and task for the coordinating organization since this year. This year. Before it wasn't obligatory, and you just could be host organization or just sailing organization. It's still possible, but you must have not obligatory your organization, but you must be related to one coordinating organization to have the financial part of the sea.
Okay, so it's not possible to just have a sending and a host organization anymore.
As a volunteer?
Yeah.
Yes, as a volunteer, yeah, it's possible, but you hosting organization have to be obligatory related with the coordinating organization. If they are big, or as an example, la Ligue de l'Enseignement, they are hosting and coordinating. So they are just connected to the same organization because it's the same. But if it's not the same, if your hosting organization is not coordinating and hosting, they might be related with another organization.
Okay, so in general, you could say that there are a lot of organizations involved in this. For this whole program, you need a network and partners you're working with, because that's something I discovered here. That for all this European stuff, there are so many people working together, organizations connecting.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you have to have some partner, but after for the volunteering, I know that it's the same. A lot of my partners are thanks to the volunteer because they find themselves the sending organization. So we just do a video and we keep in touch after for other volunteer, but sometimes it begins just like that. But there is a lot of people working in so different subjects in this European project, in this ESC, so many people, and I don't know what to say anymore.
I agree with what you said, but I think there is something particular in Brittany because we are all the coordinating organization. They create a network before I just start this job. But so I think since almost 10 years they create their own network because it's not the same in all the region in France. But there is this particular partnerships has in the Brittany, and so we can just have I think in December and in 2 weeks we have a meeting with all the volunteers who are welcoming in Brittany, and this happened because they build these networks, but it's not the same. I think it's these networks can exist in other regions of other country, but it's very specific here in Brittany. So that's why we are so related to so many people and send you too much email about too much project.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But also really impressive this work of everyone so close together. I don't know if that's the same for my sending organization, but yeah.
So Claire, you also work as a mentor, right?
Yeah.
And what are like your tasks being a mentor?
I'm working in the same office than Rusa, my volunteer, and she helped me on the project. And every week we have a meeting with another mentor, because we are two mentors, and to know how is it going in her life, and after we talk about the mission. What do you like to do? We will need you in this task. Oh, there is an afternoon in a high school. Do you want to go there to do an animation? And so we build the mission, in fact, with her. And also, if, for example, when she arrived, we go with her on the bank to open a bank account. We explain her the different things, the French culture, so they can ask us, but in France, is it normal that... I don't have an example now, but sometimes it happens. And yes, it's really accompanied the volunteer in our daily life. She has my personal and professional number, so she can contact me whenever she wants. And yeah, it's like this, you know. The volunteer is not alone, and it's yes.
Yeah, because we mentioned before in another episode that the tutors, they're really they really help you with a lot of things. And before I arrived, or I think if Linda agrees with me, everyone thought it would be okay. We knew we had mentors, but we thought it would be more about the work life and not really about the private things as well. I remember, like, I got picked up by the train station. I opened my bank account with my tutor, and it was all already organized for me. And I was so surprised because I thought it was just gonna be the work help, like the assistance within the work.
Yeah. But no, it's all the daily life also.
Yeah.
It's important because you just arrived in a country you don't know, or sometimes you already know it. But and it depends also where do you come from in Europe, because there is maybe less difference between Germany and France than Georgia and France. So it really depends. But people has to be accompanied all the time on this field.
Yeah, talking about volunteers, maybe a curious question of our side. What would you say a volunteer has to have when coming here and doing a volunteer service?
What kind of character traits are practical to be a volunteer abroad? Maybe.
Yeah.
I think I need 5 minutes to just think about what kind of answer.
For me, I think it's motivation, of course, because it's really important. It's really for us to work with people who has the motivation and who really wants to be here because they want it here, to be here, not because, oh, my mom told me I have to do volunteer, so I'm here now. No, but in general, they are more than 18, so it's they really wanted to come. It's a real motivation, and also maybe people who... I like the volunteer when they take some initiative. I don't know if it's a name in English.
Yeah,
initiative. When they propose things. Oh, I would like to do this. I would like to do this. And when we can accompany them in this what they want to do, because after it's like cool to see when the idea is not coming from the organization, but from the young people in general, even not only for EVS but for all the projects. When it comes from the participant, the young people, it's really more interesting. So it's your turn.
It's my turn. I'm agree with you that I think the most important things it's motivation. Because I don't know how to explain that, but if you believe these experiences is really important for you as a volunteer or in your life, just to go abroad and discover new skills, new people, new culture, and just go far away from home sometimes, just to discover new things. I think it's the most important things, because in volunteering with the European Solidarity Corps, we don't want to have, for me it's not really important to have someone who have degrees, specific degree, or any specific competencies in language, or if you are, it doesn't matter for me if you have a perfect English or perfect French. Is not the most important things. But if you are in Brittany and I don't know, you are in volunteering with me in the Federation of the MJC, and you're really motivated to just discover new people, and you are really motivated to work with young people, this is for me the most important things, because my job is to just be with you, to just learned the French, and for you to just learn new skills and new competencies to, I don't know, realize and do a podcast, even if you never have done a podcast before, just stuff like that, or create animation, or just discover new sports of new tools and not new things.
Yeah, that's true. Motivation is really important because, yeah, there's so much going on in a volunteering service,
Yes.
so much, really new things to discover. And, yeah, going abroad also is not easy all the time, so your motivation keeps you alive.
And I think it's really important just to be prepared to know you are going to live, I don't know, 3 months or 10 months abroad from home, so I'm not going to eat the same food, I'm not going to do the same activities. If I'm in a bad mood, I can't cuddle my best friend or my mom or my dad or my pets because they won't be there. But if you are prepared to do that, and there is different step to just go abroad and create a new life abroad from home, I think it's the most important things to as a volunteer, and also new exchange when you want to go abroad to, because if you want to live the same life abroad, it cannot happen. So it could be too difficult for you to just adapt, and I think for me I lived that in my abroad experiences.
In your experience, are there many volunteers or many people who come here and they expect to live the same life as they did in their home country, or are they prepared to live like the French life or the Brittany life, or be open for new things?
I think in my short experiences, the people, they mostly prepare to just live abroad and discover new things. They are really open-minded to just discover new things and very curious. But sometimes it's not the volunteer, but the parents of what the society expect when you have 20 years old, 25 years old, or almost 30 years old. Because, as an example, there is some volunteer, they prefer to stop their volunteer in the middle because there were the pressure of the parents or the friends to say, oh, you have to do this test to go in university, and it's really important for me that you go directly after your volunteering in the university, and you continue to have high results for university. Or sometimes I don't know, I'm 27 years old, so it's not normal to just continue and be volunteering, don't have a work in my country or in a country but don't have a stable work, or I don't know, I think it's different of the people, but I think what I saw, it's mostly not the volunteer is not really completely comfortable and motivated to do their activities, but external pressure of society or more specific friends or family who is not sometimes helping the people to feel really comfortable and legitimate to do their volunteering. This is my opinion about my...
I agree, yeah. And also some people, I think in general the volunteer I had were always preparing, but some volunteers are shocked then that France is not Paris. Sometimes it's just like, I'm going to France. And in fact, but it's not exactly like in Paris. No. It's the only things I see. Because we always said on the video, when we see the volunteers the first time, you're in Brittany, so it's not Paris. It's different.
It's
far away.
And sometimes it's small cities. And I just because you are around the table and you are not doing volunteering in big cities, so it's not so easy to just travel in whole Brittany and stuff like that. So and you don't have all the shops, and so yes, this is very specific, and it's very important that all the volunteers know that before arriving.
Yeah. But I felt that everyone told me the things who would shock me. I was kind of surprised that they told me in the interview. They were like, if you don't speak French, don't come here, please, because nobody speaks English. I was like, okay. Are they trying to get rid of me, or are they trying to get me to work for them? But yeah, things like this, they really help to prepare you for the project, I think.
Yeah, and that's the great thing, that when you're sending your application, you can read in the description what you will get, what you can expect. So that's also how I could select, okay, maybe that will suit me more, this not.
Yeah, I like that it was honest. I like that they said, okay, you live in a small city, and it's not like, oh yeah, you live there, you have this, and then you're arriving like, okay, there's no city center here.
Yeah, it's better to know before. But it's important, I think, when you are a volunteer, when you read the mission, to see the mission, if it fits you, to see the country, but also all about accommodation, about the city, and are you in a rural area or not? Because sometimes you can have such a good mission, such a good country, but finally you will be the only volunteer in the place, and you can feel isolated or something. So
I mean, there will always be some difficulties, but to be prepared before coming, that's of course really important. But I thought it was really interesting what you said about the parents and the extern people. I didn't really realize, but now that you say also in the exchange with some volunteers, there's really a lot of pressure from outside. And yeah, it's sad because the young people have really this desire to discover, to travel. And then, studies, of course, university is a big problem. Well, also right now I'm preparing my application for university, and so that you should also keep in mind what you want to do after, if you can do it at the same time, because also university requires a lot of time.
I also found it really interesting because I've never thought about this, like that the parents are the problem kind of, or like the bubble of the person, because like in my family it's really encouraged to travel and really encouraged, and I think for a lot of families in Germany it's normal, like, to go abroad, and they prepare their kids and they're like, yeah, go. But then like in some other countries maybe they're more, but you should go to university. Are you sure that you want to volunteer? Okay. But
and just to see, but good for, I think, parents, but also grandparents, aunt, uncle, and friends as usual. But when you go to university, you are sure you are going to learn new things, and you will have a degree at the end who can certify you learn those things, so you are able to do the, psychology, medicines, animation, sports with animals, kind of different competencies and skills you can have. But when you are doing volunteering, you are also learning a lot of things, but it's not the same way of learning. So there is a formal education and the non-formal education, and so it's not and I think it's very cultural, because here in France the university is something very, very important for the parents, the family, and the teacher and stuff like that. So it's not very good to, when someone say after the high school, I don't know what I want to do, so maybe I just want to be volunteer in some organization, to just do an eco garden, or just work with young people, or just surfing, or create a podcast, or I don't know, I just want to see and travel. So there is, I think, different habits, cultural habits, and it's has a coordinating organization where I talk with different volunteers and also mentors. You can see all the different person or things who can put you pressure on you when you are a volunteer and you are not fit with the norm, or just as all your friend is doing after the high school, or when they have 25 years old or almost 30 years old.
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought up the informal education, because it's so, like, it's kind of a new point, like a new part of education that now gets more accepted, I feel like, because it doesn't get compared to like formal education. When you go to school, to high school, then to university, it's like everyone's used to it, so you have a degree, you're prepared in life. But then if you do a volunteering service, maybe people might look at you differently because it's not, you don't do the thing that they expect you to do. And that's really interesting. Even though if you do volunteering experience, like in my experience, you might learn a lot more than if you would have gone to university already. So
Yeah, I mean, already just leaving home, leaving your country, puts you in a position where you forcefully have to adapt, to grow, gain autonomy. And yeah, also with our youth pass, we get this whole certificate and we can write ourselves what we learn. And as I wrote it, I also realized, wow, I've learned so many things. I could write down so many aspects. And yeah, that's really something that everyone should appreciate more. And also maybe some young people who want to do a volunteering service, but parents are not so, don't see that, or really like to see that they can also tell them, hey, I will learn something, I will learn so much. So in either way, it's also education.
yeah, maybe we should explain a little the youth pass, because it's kind of a certificate you can do in the end. It's not mandatory, but basically the volunteers fill them out themselves in some categories, and then the tutors and the organization, the coordinating organization, they just sign it, and you can write it in all the languages you can speak and want to write it down. And yeah, I think that's about it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But is your experience, like here in France, for example, that people really apply with the youth pass as a certificate? Does it is it a positive fact if you do have a youth pass, if you apply to some entreprise, like some company?
Yeah, I think, in fact, a lot of company doesn't know for the moment, I think, the youth pass, but the most people will bring them the youth pass, the most it will be known, so it's good to always bring the youth pass and show it. And anyway, I think it shows that the person did many things also abroad and have different competencies and can recognize his competencies. So I think it's a good thing to bring it, and maybe in a few years it will be really even more recognized, because the most people will bring their youth pass with them, the most people will know the youth pass. So I don't know what you think about this.
Yeah, I think it depends, but there is a lot of organization, just association, who know what is youth pass, because there is a lot of, I know that here in Brittany, there is a lot of association who know what it is, but all the part of the business companies, they not used to welcome a volunteer in their own company, so they are not, I agree with you, they don't really know what it is, but I think the youth pass is something very important just to add in your resume or in your CV, because when you want to apply for a job, just to tell I was volunteer in a high school or in an MJC in Quentin during a year, it could be a bit, they don't really know what that means, because you can be volunteer in different situations and do lot of task. So with your youth pass, you can certificate more precisely what you learn and what you want. So I think it's, even if they don't really know what it is, it's really important to add it, because it will be more clear for the person who will read your CV and your resume to tell you, this person, it's okay to work for the job because she's knows that kind of competencies. And there is different countries. There are the place of the volunteering is very, very important for the states. So yeah, the youth pass is really, really important. So it's different countries in the European Union. So youth pass have not the same recognition from the government, but in some countries it's really, really important.
Yeah, talking about the youth pass not being so known, We also realized all together that in our environments, not so many people know about the European Solidarity Corps. And is that, or do you have the feeling it's the same here, or do you maybe know why?
Yeah, I think the same. I think before I did my civic service, I didn't know the European Solidarity Corps. I think it depends in which context you are, in fact. If you are used to work with non-formal education in some organization since you are young, or maybe you can know more easily. But when I talk to my friends about the European Solidarity Corps, nobody knows that before I was working for that. Now they know, but before they didn't know. So yeah.
And I completely agree that there is not so much young people that they could go abroad with the European Solidarity Corps, but they don't. And I think there is something very... it's not so easy for me to explain it in English, but it's a privilege it's my opinion, but I think it's not so common, usual for French people to just go abroad in their life. It's see that if you want to go abroad, it's a privilege because you have to have money, know other language than French. You have to have the open mind to just discover and go out of your comfort zone. So I think it's really different because the young people at school, the school takes very lot of time in the daily life of the young people, and in school this is not really appreciated to just go abroad, go away, or if you want to go abroad it's better in a specific program, just Erasmus Plus, to go in another university abroad. But if you are not going to another university to go to just learn in the formal education, it's not seen very well. So I think it's very French culture who is really have a big impact on that.
Maybe, yeah.
Because you say yes, in Germany, when I sent the offer for the new volunteer, there were a lot of people from January, more younger than the French people, when they apply, because in your culture it's more normal and usual to just go abroad when you are young. But I don't know if I'm...
Sometimes it's, I feel like in France, but it's really sometimes, it's not a generalization, but sometimes it's just like, you do a volunteering if you have nothing to do. It's like, I don't want to go to university, I will do a volunteer. It's like not, we don't valorize so much all the impact of, and it's really like even sometimes the parents or, yes, you have nothing to do, so like if it was like the bin. Okay, let's go. Yeah.
It's better to do volunteering than do nothing in your life, in your daily life. And sometimes parents say, go to work and after just to get some money, and after you can just find your way and go to the university or find your dream jobs. But it's not really... So it's not really... I don't know how
it's not seen positively.
Yes.
Really.
Maybe it's changing now a little bit. Maybe the new generation are more open about you.
I think it depends because but in high school here in France, if you are doing general studies in high school, you have a different way to... different possibility to go abroad. But if you are doing, I don't know, in high school you are doing a technique specific thing. I don't know, I'm going to take an example. My little brother, he's in high school and he's doing a kitchen. So he wants to just be cooker in restaurants. He don't have any possibility to go abroad with Erasmus Plus project. The teacher, they don't know as a... They didn't propose to the students they can go abroad and learn to cook in Germany or in Georgia. So I think there is different way. There is so many formation and way to look the what is good to be formed and learned on you. It's not so easy for me to explain it in English because it's difficult to express my whole opinions, but I think it's more complex. It's not white or black, but there is different social norm who is very, they are really anchor.
That's true.
It's not so easy to transform and make them move. I don't know. I hope I'm clear.
Yeah. Well, even though in Germany it's really common to take a gap year, do a volunteering service, also not so many people know the European Solidarity Corps.
Specifically the European Solidarity Corps. I also feel like it's not known a lot, but that's also kind of why we're doing the podcast, to spread it a little. And even here in France, I know so many volunteers who just go to schools and tell the people about it, because everyone knows the service civique, just the normal voluntary service, but that's it. And for the others, they think they have to pay a huge amount of money, and actually you don't have to.
Yeah, there are so many stereotypes about this whole volunteering, and even though it's such a great opportunity.
So maybe to finish up the podcast, we would like to ask you, what's your favorite thing about the ESC program, about the European Solidarity Corps?
So the favorite things. Okay.
For example, for me, I don't know if it's my favorite things, but I think it's very nice that not only people from the European Union can participate, but also people from Morocco, Georgia, and I think it's
some partner countries.
Yeah, I think it's good because it's look like more open-minded about. For me, I don't know if it's my favorite thing, but it's a thing important.
Yeah, I like that because it opens up more than just Europe, because Europe is always like this close unity. And
Exactly.
And for me, my favorite things are the things it's